I didn't think there'd be vampires on campus.
We must have been at about 40,000 feet when it happened.
What was that?
You are the Slayer. One girl in all the world.
Did anybody see that?
Yeah.
Guess what? I feel better.
Guys, where are we?
How you doing today, Pat?
I'm good, Sammy. How are you?
Good. I have 5 pages left of my book,
Yeah.
and I really wanted to get to the end of this podcast and be able to say that I finished A Court of Thorn and Roses, but I can't say that now because you won't let me finish
Yeah,
it.
I hear what you're saying, but we also have a podcast to record, so you can finish that tonight.
Okay, fine. I will.
Okay, cool. Welcome, everyone.
Oh, right. We have a podcast,
Yes.
and it's called Kicking and Streaming, and I'm Sammy,
And I'm Pat.
and we're here to talk about Buffy and Lost.
Yes, and we are on episode 2 of our podcast. We are also on episode 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Lost, which is technically the pilot part 2.
Yes. I have that in my notes.
Good, I'm glad.
but it's your show, so that's more important for you to know.
Right. So should we just jump right in and start talking about
Let's
Buffy?
jump right in.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Last week, we saw the pilot episode,
Yep.
which was Welcome to the Hellmouth. That was a 2-part episode. So actually, they aired on the same night, but we did not watch them that way. So, whatever, that's fine.
So they aired back to back.
Yeah, they aired back to back
So-
on March 10th, 1997.
What's the point of even having it to be continued then?
I don't know. Truthfully, because I was not watching from the beginning, I've watched the whole show many times, but I wasn't watching it when it aired. I think I got in maybe like halfway through the first season. I don't like that could have been something they added in afterwards, or not. It's still technically 2 episodes because the show is only 42 minutes long.
Yeah.
So it is 2 separate episodes.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't know. I do feel like that's something that they do every once in a while with this show. And what's funny is I was reading an article or an interview with Joss Whedon, and he was talking about how you're gonna kill me. One of the Star Wars. What's the
What?
What's the second one?
Oh boy.
Not 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the 5th one?
Are you talking
You
about
don't even remember.
Are you talking about Empire Strikes Back?
Yes.
Only the greatest Star Wars movie ever made?
No, the 3rd one is because that one's the one with the
God.
Ewoks.
I can't do this every week. I can't do it every week.
Anyway, I think it was the 5th one that he was talking about. It might have been the 6th one. I don't remember because you know me and Star Wars.
Okay.
And I'm sorry if that's blasphemy to some people.
Okay.
Including you.
Yeah.
But he talked about how you'll know when I tell you this, that he didn't really feel like it was a true movie because it didn't have an actual ending. It didn't wrap things up. Mm-hmm. It kind of left a lot open.
Right.
So I don't know if that helps you tell me which one it was. I could look it up, but
Yeah, no. Empire
'cause, you know,
Strikes
I don't-
Back. Empire Strikes Back ends classically as Luke Skywalker has the fight with Darth Vader. Darth
Right,
Vader
okay, it's
cuts
that one,
Luke's
yep.
hand off.
Yes,
And
right.
then they sort of end with the Millennium Falcon picking Luke Skywalker up, and then they're sort of looking out the window. So it is very much like a cliffhanger. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of resolution, but they knew that they were coming back for the next movie.
Right. Well, and so then when did the next one come out?
I think it was 1983, I want to say.
Okay. How many years later, Pat?
Okay, 2-3 years, maybe.
Okay. So there you go. So I think that was Joss Whedon's thing, is he was like, I feel like you've got to still have an ending. It has to still feel like a complete movie. And he didn't feel like it felt like a complete movie. So it kind of made me think of that with these 2 episodes. You sort of have to watch them back to back, or it doesn't feel like a complete story.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I agree with that because I've seen this first episode, the pilot episode, 3 times now, I think. And so seeing the sort of conclusion to that first episode is it's quite satisfying because it sort of rounds it out and fills it out a lot better as well.
Right.
So I actually enjoyed this episode a lot more than the first episode, to be honest.
Yeah, and he but there's still like an overarching storyline that goes throughout the the full season.
Yeah.
Or at least like we know the master is still around, right? He's not dead. His plan with Luke is obviously foiled at this point, but he's going to keep trying.
Luke
and that's pretty much
Skywalker?
what Giles says. No, the different Luke.
Oh, is Luke the guy with the busted face who's just like jacked?
Yes.
Okay.
And they do say his name many times, including
this
in the
episode?
first episode.
Oh.
In the first and the second.
So this is something you'll
So
find
we
out.
do
I'm
know
not
his name.
good with names. So
Well, that's a problem that I have with Lost because there's so many of them.
See, I'm better with Lost names for some reason.
Oh, well, that's your show.
That is
So
my show.
I'm better with Buffy names.
See? There we go. Common
we go.
ground.
Your prediction was that Buffy was going to get out of her little pickle
Okay,
that she's in.
I corrected myself and I said,
You said she's going to do a kick and a roundhouse. She's going to flip Luke out a window, and she's going to have a quip.
how close was I?
The quip was pretty ridiculous, what you said. I think you said something like, and that's how you mess with a girl who knows what she's doing, which I was like, that could be bad.
That's very
It
accurate.
could be taken bad. And then you said longer term, she's going to bust a bunch of vampires. The master's looking for some fresh blood to get stronger. Probably at the end of the season, Buffy will have to face him, and that will likely be the season finale. So just for context, so you have that.
Yeah.
But
I feel like those are really good predictions. I stand by
I think
those.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the episode picks right up where it ends with Buffy in a real pickle with Luke moving in to bite her.
Right.
But, oh, hey, it's that cross necklace
And
that
it burns the vampire.
Yeah. Yes. So
Luke.
that handsome stranger gave her this necklace, and
So
it
nice
comes
of
in
him.
handy.
Yeah.
And so, burns Luke, and he just kind of pieces out. There was no kicking, Pat, so you you didn't get that right, but that's okay.
I didn't get that right. Yeah.
No fun quip, sadly, but there are so many in this episode, which is one of the reasons why I also think that I like this episode better.
Yeah.
than
We
the first.
also we get our first steak stabber too. Like
Steak stabber?
Yeah, like isn't that what you call it? Isn't that the action? she stabs a vampire with a steak. Steak stabber.
Yeah, they frequently refer to it as steak stabbing.
See how close was I? Steak stabber, steak stabbing. I was right on the money. Steak stabber.
They don't call it that.
Okay, whatever.
That's what you do when you're flipping your steaks on the grill.
Yeah, that's what I do. I call it steak stabbing.
Steak stabbing. So yes, we get our first
Steak
dusting,
stabber,
as they will later call it.
They call it dusting.
Yeah.
Oh,
or
because
staking.
they puff into a bunch of dust.
Into dust. Yeah.
Okay.
Into dust they return. Yeah, so she runs, leaves the mausoleum, she runs off a vamp from Willow, then fights some that have Xander, grabbing a tree branch for a stake. Slayer's got to know how to improvise. Very industrious.
Yep.
Jesse, however, was captured.
Yes.
So they kind of get back. Later, Giles drops some knowledge that when the world began, it was overrun by demons.
Yes.
Xander and Willow are having a hard time wrapping their heads around the fact that vampires are real.
Especially Xander.
Yep.
But I love Willow's response. She says, "Whoa, I need to sit down." And then
Yes.
Buffy says, "You are sitting down."
You are sitting down.
And she goes,
"Oh, good for me."
"Good for me."
I knew you were gonna love that. I wrote that down, but I was like,
Yeah.
that's good. That's probably gonna be Pat's favorite
Yeah,
line.
every time Willow's got a great line so far.
She's
every episode.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew you would love that.
Yeah, that's good.
So they're having a hard time with it. We see Jesse brought to the Master's underground church lair. His minions, Luke and Darla, inform the Master that the Slayer is in town, and they decide that they're going to use Jessie as bait to
Yes.
lure her down there.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny how the master was unimpressed with Jessie. He's like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And they're like,
And
"Well,
you bring me
had
your
others."
scraps.
Yeah. If I was
I'm
Jessie,
your
I'd be like,
faithful
"What?
dog."
What's wrong with me, man?
know.
I'm not
He's
good
just
enough
like-
vampire meat."
He's not good enough human. He's not good enough vampire.
Poor
You know,
Jessie.
Jessie's got it rough.
Jessie likes being a vampire, and I sort of thought about it. I was like, you know what? Is it really all that bad? Like, say you are a high school kid and things
Yeah.
weren't really going your way, and then you see these like bad dudes coming out and killing people and biting their necks and stuff, and it's very traumatizing, very scary. You're at the Bronze, you're just there to party, and you're seeing
Yeah.
all this happening, right?
Yeah.
A part of me would be like, you know what? Why don't I just get a bite and like become like part of the cool guys who are like just partying all night and like hanging out together in the tunnels, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of being a teenager, isn't it?
Yeah,
Trying
I
to
know.
figure out what where you fit in
Right.
and how, if you're willing to do not so great things to fit in.
Right. I
So,
feel like there's a
yeah.
lot of people who wanted to be vampires. Like when I was growing up, like I feel like
Yeah.
there's a certain faction of people who like sort of aspired to be vampires.
Yeah. Well, I think these are interesting conversations that we should definitely keep
These
having.
are just
as,
fleeting
as
musings.
the show progresses.
Yes, okay. Interesting.
These things, maybe
They might
something
come
that
up?
We're gonna talk
Okay.
up more.
Predictions,
Yeah.
predictions.
But yes, like so Jesse, and I mean, of course, like he's like, you know what? I'm this like nerdy guy. Like nobody pays attention to me.
Right.
And I really love his transformation. That like, he's kind of this, like Cordelia described him as, like little puppy dog following me around everywhere.
Yeah.
And that kind of is what he was like. And then flash forward to him being a vampire and at the Bronze again. And he's like, they got like sexy music playing in the background. And he's like, just like checking out Cordelia, like in the shadows.
Right.
He's like, you're going to dance with me.
Yeah.
He's got some power.
And
like,
you know
he
what?
knows it.
You know what's
And that-
crazy is Cordelia responds to it immediately. She's like, "Huh? Well, okay, fine." Like he
'Cause
tells her
she
to
wants the
he
bad
tells
boy.
her to shut up. He says,
Yeah.
"Shut up." And she's like, "Okay, I guess I'll do a little dance." And I'm like,
Right.
psh, psh.
I mean, dude, that's what it was like being a teen girl. Like,
you like the
you
bad
didn't
boys.
you didn't want the nice guy.
Yeah.
And I should not generalize, right? But I can speak from my experience. As I know, as many of my female friends know, like, we needed to go through a lot of bad guys and get our hearts broken a lot before we were like, all right, we're sick of this now. Like, this is not going to work. We're not going to change him. But so, yeah. So, like, of
But
course,
why not just go
Jesse-
for the nice guy? That's what I'm curious about.
Because we got to learn the hard way.
Okay.
We got to learn the hard way.
Still not
first.
satisfied with the answer, but I'll live
I'm
with
not
it.
saying it makes any sense because
Yeah.
it doesn't. Cool. Okay. So anyway, yeah, clearly Jesse is like, he's like, cool. And that's the thing. That's like the whole thing about vampires, right? Like they're supposed to be sexy. They're supposed to be alluring. Because like that's what draws you into them. I mean,
Sure.
You've seen Dracula, right? Like
Yeah.
that's his whole thing. He draws you in.
Super sexy.
Super sexy. Especially Gary Oldman Dracula. Whew.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Gary
anyway.
Oldman, anything.
Oh, I know. He's the best.
Gary Oldman,
Gary Oldman, not in Hannibal, though. Okay?
I don't remember him in that movie.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like Gary Oldman. He's the guy who's like all his, like everything is... Was he burned or did Hannibal like peel his flesh off him? I don't know.
Don't
It was
remember.
Some messed up shit.
Yeah.
But that's Gary Oldman.
Okay.
Gross. Pretty gross. Or was that Red Dragon?
Could have been Red Dragon. Red Dragon's the one with Ed Norton.
Because that's the movie when I saw that, I was like, damn, this guy would make a great Voldemort. And then he was
And
Voldemort.
Did you really think that before he was Voldemort?
Yeah, because that movie was before Harry Potter.
you pre-casted him as Voldemort before he was Voldemort?
Well, I just remember seeing him in it, and then like the next time I was like reading a Harry Potter book, that's who I like imagined him.
Wow,
like,
that's wild.
Because he just had that. He had that like, I don't know, the creepy presence. I was like, yeah, I feel like he would make a good Voldemort
And
in my head.
this master guy reminds me of Voldemort quite a bit.
Yes, he has that gross look, that not human face look. So anyway, let's get back to the Master. So Buffy tells Giles about Luke's reference to the Master. And Giles is like, okay, like, let me look into this. And the Slayerettes form a plan.
Slayerettes.
Buffy will use the sewers to recover Jessie, while Willow and Giles research the harvest. Xander feels useless, emasculated.
A little bit.
Kicks a trash can.
He wants to help, and he says that he's not going to, but then he follows Buffy.
Yes. Well, because Xander's not the research guy. You know, he's like, I'm not going to do this.
Right. He wants to be a warrior. He wants to be like Buffy.
Right.
Yeah.
So Buffy revisits the mausoleum to find the entrance to the sewer system. Handsome stranger shows up and reveals his name is
Angel.
Angel.
Yeah, I totally knew his name.
Predicted that.
Yeah.
Not because I told you.
Yeah, totally not.
Not because he had a spinoff.
And he said, "What?
What?
That was a different. I thought.
Huh?
I thought that was the show with Jessica Alba. She played Angel.
Yep. Yes,
right?
That's what that is.
Okay. Wait, he's in that?
Huh?
He's what? Is that show about him?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was
Throwing me off.
I was just making a joke.
Okay.
Just making a joke. So Angel gives Buffy a tip on where to go. Xander shows up to help Buffy. Giles discovers the harvest is tonight.
Yeah. I like how Willow's the computer hacker.
I know, me too.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of checks out, like, as far as, like, I don't want to say cliches go, but, like, as far as, like, building out her character. Yes,
but also, again, remember, we're 97, right? Like, usually the computer nerd, computer hacker
is a dude.
Is a dude.
Yeah.
So it's kind of great that it's
that's
Willow.
True. I agree with that.
So yeah, totally agree. Let's
and
see,
I like how Willow and Giles sort of become like the headquarters, like the think tank. They're sort of like the people in the van while the operatives go out and do the butt kicking, but they're in contact with their trusty brains there.
Yeah, so that's like that was one of the things that I really liked about this episode, is that you start to see where each of the like main four kind of fit into the picture,
right,
and what their roles are. So we've got Willow and Giles on research.
Mm-hmm.
Buffy is kind of like, okay, here's the plan, and then she executes the plan, and Xander is sort of like her sidekick.
Right.
I don't think he'd really like being referred to that way, but that's, let's be real.
Hey, he doesn't have a choice in this. We are going to refer to Xander however we please.
That's true.
That's true.
If you got a problem with it, Xander, call us up.
Cash me outside.
You know what? Cash me outside.
How about that?
We're only on episode 2, so maybe that could change.
Cash me in the tunnels. How about that?
Yeah, please don't do that. You don't want to be cashed in the tunnels.
I did like the conversation between Buffy and Xander as they're talking about how to kill vampires while they're in the tunnels, and he's like running down the stuff that he knows, like crosses, garlic, stick to the heart, and she's like, yeah, that'll do it. Also fire, beheading, holy water, sunlight, and then they talk about beheading a little bit. And how,
where she's like, I only had like an X-Acto knife, and I was like cutting through this guy who used to be on the football team. And Xander's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah. But he's also like, it's actually kind of comforting in a weird way.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, this is what being friends with you is like.
Right. Like it's scary, but I kind of want.
Friends.
Yeah. I kind of want like a scary person on my team. Like
for sure.
While we're in the tunnels, like I need somebody with some grit.
Yeah, I love that he's like, well, I got the flashlight. She's like, turn off the flashlight. It's just so great.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun to watch. They find Jesse. Oh no, he's a vampire.
Yeah.
They throw him back to the rest of the vampires, and they run. The master is not happy. I love where he's like, say you're sorry, and the guy's like, I'm sorry, and he's like, oh, that was, see, that wasn't so hard. You've got something in your eye.
Smash.
God.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
So many good lines, just like such.
And it also sets
dialogue.
the master up as a really bad dude. I mean, we know he's a bad dude, but I love it when they write a bad dude well. So like they sell it and they show you why he's so bad. Like stuff like that makes you hate the bad dude even more. And as much as we hate the bad dude, like I love to hate the bad dudes because it makes everything mean so much more in the story. It makes you care about the characters and it makes you root for the good guys.
I cannot wait until we get to season 7, which is a long way away, but like I cannot wait to unpack the villain in that one.
So I have an observation and I want to see how you feel about this. So
All right.
Now that I know the guy's name is Luke, I thought Luke sort of looked like a Patrick Swayze type.
Okay.
Not in the face, but in the bod. He's got like this like nice Patrick Swayze fit bod, tight black t-shirt, very much like Dirty Dancing.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay.
All right. Nobody puts Master in a corner. Am I right?
Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's a no. That's a no for me.
Okay. That's a no for me.
That's a no for me. I don't. But, that's, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for that.
Okay. Thanks. I'll cut this out.
All right. So the master makes Luke his vessel. So when Luke drinks blood, it makes the master stronger.
Right. So
Giles,
hold on. Well, let's back up real quick because this kind of came out of nowhere. This I didn't quite understand. So Luke is a vessel. Yeah. So when he sucks somebody's blood, the master could feel it. Like he put out his hands or something, and like he could like feel the blood coming through him, or coming. Yeah. To him
when he was
wirelessly.
Putting his wirelessly,
like Wi-Fi.
So it's Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
it's
Wi-Fi
got Wi-Fi
blood
in the church.
Yeah.
Did they even? I don't even think they had Wi-Fi in '97. I'm pretty sure it was still dial-up.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So he when he was putting his hands out, and you saw kind of like the shimmering, like rippling.
Right.
That was so what Willow was talking about with Giles was that there was this earthquake that buried this church and the master in it. So he's like somehow magically trapped down there. And he was weakened. So making Luke his vessel, when Luke drinks blood, it makes them both stronger. But mostly he's like drinking it for the master. So the master, when he's like pushing against that kind of like invisible wall, that's like a magical barrier that he's starting to be able to push through because he's getting stronger.
Okay, I totally follow all that.
So like he for some reason, like he is weakened and he is magically trapped.
Yeah.
Down there. So the other vampires can leave and bring food back to him.
Yeah.
Or do the harvest thing where they don't have to actually bring food back to him. They can just, kill everyone right there and drink their blood and he gets stronger. So that was that whole deal.
I had a question about vampire killing and I was wondering if you could answer it.
I probably can.
Okay. So how many times can one wooden stake be used?
Long as it's it doesn't disappear.
It doesn't disappear. So if they dust a vamp, okay?
Yeah.
I'm really getting the lingo down here.
Yeah, you are.
They dust the vamp, right?
The slingo.
So you can still hold on to it, right? It won't drop out of your hand. Okay.
Correct.
Good to know. All right. Thank you for answering that.
Although I will say in the Xbox game, that is not the case. And you can only stake things like a certain number of times and then your stake breaks and it's really annoying. And you just got to like keep carrying stakes around with you. I hate that. That's not...
But also maybe that's realistic. I mean, how many times could
Probably.
you use a real wooden stake and how many vamps could you really dust with one stake? Probably depends on the kind of wood. Maybe a nice mahogany would work better than like a pine, I would think.
Yep, I
It
would
would start
think so.
getting dull after a while.
Yes.
Okay.
We should bring, you know what? We should bring Ron Swanson on to answer this question. I
Yeah.
think he'd have some good insight.
Okay,
on that.
yeah. Let's send out an email, see if we can get him. So Cordelia, she can't get any worse, right? I hate when she talks about things like
Yes.
I have to have the most expensive things when I go shopping, and also senior boys are just like,
Because they have cars.
oh yeah, it's like,
Oh
my
yeah, she's
goodness,
the worst.
my
She's the
goodness.
worst.
And then
Spoiler
she makes
alert, she can get worse.
yeah, and then she makes fun of poor old Willow, and she makes
I
fun
know.
of Buffy. I mean, there's
She's
people like this in the world. So
There are.
Yeah.
It's so we got to remember it's Southern California, so
yeah. So
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. There are people like that everywhere.
was
There are
gonna
people
say.
like that in my school, so
exactly.
it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
I was thinking like, Valley, kind of like Valley Girl type, but she's not really Valley Girl type. Like she doesn't come off as stupid, I don't think, but she's definitely bitchy.
Yeah.
Definitely rich bitchy.
She's very uppity.
Yeah.
Elite.
Definitely holier than thou. So anyway, Giles shares with the rest of the Slayerettes the Masters kind of deal, the harvest, what's going on with all of that.
Yep.
How he's trapped and the vessel can set him free. Buffy's like, all right, cool. She's like, well, they're like, where are they going to gather? Xander's like, the Bronze, obviously. Like, where else do you think? That's where
Right.
everybody goes.
It's the only cool place to go.
The only cool place.
Yeah.
So, Buffy's trying to go out and her mom sadly puts her foot down and is like, you can't go anywhere. And I will say it's really interesting. It'll be interesting to watch like their relationship play out and to talk about that, because some people are really hard on her mom.
Yeah.
But like, she doesn't know she's stopping her daughter from saving the world. Like she just thinks she's grounding a bad teenager who's rebelling against her. So like that's pretty normal, I think.
That was actually a question I had was, is the mom aware of anything about the vampires with Buffy, or is it she's completely oblivious to this slaying?
Well, from our perspective,
Yeah.
from what we've seen so far, I think we can gather that she doesn't know.
Okay.
Because, like we were talking about in the first episode, Buffy's like, yeah, I'm only going to hang out with the living. I mean, lively, and so her mom's like, yeah, and I would think that if her mom knew, that Buffy would be able to just be like, listen, Mom, there's this bad guy. He's going to murder a bunch of people. I'm the only one who can stop it. And like, that's a get out of grounding free card.
Do you know what would be a cool turn is if it was revealed that the mom was a previous Slayer and that she was like this sort of closeted badass that was just trying to act like some upright citizen mom, normal mom type. And then one day she's just like, looks like you need some backup. And then she opens her like mom closet and there's a secret door with a bunch of stakes and she puts on war paint.
That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be pretty cool?
That would be. But as the intro states, there's
Yes.
only one girl in all the world with
Bummer.
the strength and something.
Ah,
So
nuts.
I know. There goes that theory.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But,
I guess that's not going to make my prediction
Your
segment.
prediction. So anyway, Buffy's like, cool, okay, Mom, no problem. And then she just goes out the window.
Right.
Classic Buffy. Heads to the Bronze to stop the harvest. Lots of fighting happens.
Mm-hmm.
Xander stakes Jesse. Well, actually, somebody bumps into Jesse while Xander is
Yeah,
holding
he accidentally
the stake.
kills a vamp,
Yeah, his
which
friend.
was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I do love the scene. I do love that because, like, well, first of all, like, if we back up a little bit to when they first discover that Jesse is a vampire,
Yeah.
Xander's kind of, like, pleading with him a little bit, and he's like, well, are you kidding? I love this. Like, I'm not a loser anymore.
Right.
And they kind of rehash that discussion at the Bronze, and, Xander's like, I know you're still in there, and Jesse's like, no, and Giles had even said beforehand, he was like, this is not your friend. He's not in there anymore. Like, you just have to remember that.
Yeah. So they become like a
so-
completely different person, right?
That's what we
they
are
have
made
no
to
memories?
understand.
They must have some memories.
I mean, I would assume that they have all their human memories. They just don't have all. And now obviously there's stuff that I know, but
okay.
but I'm just saying, like, looking at this with fresh eyes, Jesse, like, it's not like Jesse forgot who Willow and Xander were.
Right, he knew their names
or where
and
he
such.
was or anything.
Yeah.
So, like, my assumption would be, okay, like, he remembers everything. He
The
knows
knowledge passes.
who he is.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't care about the same things. Like, his main driving force is drinking blood now.
Gotcha.
And that's what, like, that's what the legends would tell us, and Dracula and everything. So
after Xander accidentally kills the vampire, one of my favorite moments of this episode, sunrise gag, was
that's
pretty
great.
good. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Because when she said, what did she say? She says something like, here comes the sunrise, or watch out for the sunrise. I forget what she says.
There's something you forgot about. Oh, because Luke says, you forget, metal can't hurt me. And Buffy says, there's something you forgot about too, sunrise. And then, she throws it. And then, it's in about 9 hours, moron. That's what I mean. Like, there's just the dialogue, like, we're starting to get good. We're starting to get her quips.
Yeah.
We're starting to get...
These quips were a lot better than the first episode, I'll say.
Yeah.
And then, right after that, they dolly in on Buffy, and they give her blue light, and she looks like a real badass. And then all the rest of the vamps scatter. They're like, we don't want any part of this. And then they all run away.
Well, after she kills Luke, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love that there are two that are, like, either holding or, like, surrounding Xander, and she just kind of, like, looks at him, and they're like, all right, we're good. They just, like, run away.
Yeah. They're like, I don't want any part of this.
Crisis averted,
for now.
But the master's not happy. And I do love the ending to where, Buffy is, like, talking about how she can get kicked out of school.
Yeah.
And Giles is like, the earth is doomed. Like, that's just the way that it ends. Like, he's, like, looking back at them.
Oh, yeah. He's like,
oh,
the earth is doomed. Yeah. Like, oh, these kids.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I just love it so much. Yeah, there's just, I feel like we're already really into knowing the characters in this episode.
Yeah, this episode definitely fleshes them out a little bit more. Like, it's definitely an introduction in episode 1, but episode 2, we get to see more of their personality and how they interact with each other a little better. And I will say that Buffy did not annoy me as much this episode. I feel like she had more human moments and not just so sure of herself the whole time. So I'm warming up.
Good.
Yes.
Good. I will say one issue that I have with this episode is kind of how quickly they move on from Jesse being a vampire. They're just like. I
mean, was Jesse really? He was their friend, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, we're coming in this, and we see Buffy, or we see Jesse, Willow, and Xander kind of all together, and they kind of, like, bring Buffy in. So I would assume that they're, we don't know. Maybe Xander and Willow are a lot closer. Willow did make an allusion to the fact that they had known each other for a long time because, she broke up with Xander when he stole her Barbie. When they were, like, 5 or 6 or something. I forget what she says. So who knows? Maybe they don't know Jesse as long, but it's still kind of a weird, I don't know, it's just still sort of a weird thing that they kind of, like, move on quickly from it.
Right, they're like, well, he's a vampire, better dust him.
Well, I mean, Willow's like, oh, at least you two are okay, and Xander kicks a trash can, and then that's sort of it. I mean, again, like I was saying earlier, I do like how Xander tries to appeal to Jesse's, human nature.
Yeah.
But it still just sort of felt like they moved on quickly.
Can I just make a really kind of geeky, stupid, technical issue that I have with this episode?
Yeah, sure. You're gonna have that with so much of this, I think.
Nobody's gonna care. But the part where the vampires come out of the shadows and they're approaching the bronze, and
I love that scene.
Wait, you love that?
Are you gonna ruin this scene for me?
Yeah, I'm gonna ruin it for you. I'm sorry.
No, the music that's playing.
No, I'm sorry.
And, like, Darla, like, swings her hair back.
No, that's the worst. It's the worst. Because
why?
First of all, I'll tell you why.
Can't believe you're
The slow motion is not real slow motion. It's kind of like this choppy video slow motion that they used to do in the 90s a lot, and it rubs me the wrong way, and I hate it. And also, they did another video sin, which was they are already at like a standard def resolution, and they punch more into the standard def, and it makes it even like blockier and more pixelated, and it seemed so amateur to me, and it drove me nuts. I feel so much better getting that off my chest.
I'm really glad
Thank you for listening.
It doesn't ruin anything for me because I didn't notice any of that stuff.
No, in fact, you loved it.
I don't have special eyes like you have.
Yeah, not a lot of people have special eyes like me.
So, yeah, that didn't bother me. All right, do you want to move on to Lost?
Lost episode 2, pilot part 2. This episode is directed by J.J. Abrams, and it aired a week after the original pilot aired.
So my prediction was that they'll find out the dog is the demon.
Okay.
The baby will be born just in time to sacrifice to the dog demon.
Yeah, I think you're still stuck in Buffy mode. I don't know where you're getting these predictions, but I appreciate they're out there, but I like them.
Yeah, well, there's something in the woods, okay? So
there's certainly something in the woods. I don't know if it's a dog demon, but there's still time to tell. Who knows? So this episode starts with a flashback, another flashback to the plane crash inside the plane, except this time we get to see Charlie. We get to see Charlie's flashback.
Charlie, drugs, Charlie.
Charlie loves the heroin, and he ingests it. He eats the heroin.
Okay, so I get it. He's trying to be a rock star, but his popularity with me took a real nosedive.
Oh, you don't like Charlie no more?
Can we just talk about how great my pun was?
Oh, nosedive because of the plane crash.
And, well, I guess if it's heroin, that's not something you snort. Is it something you snort? I don't know. I don't
know. I don't know the drugs. I don't.
Was it? No, it wasn't heroin. Heroin you shoot up. He had cocaine.
No, it's heroin.
How do you know?
Because I read it in trivia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was heroin that he was ingesting, which I didn't know that would get you high, and maybe it's just a show thing, maybe it's just a movie thing. I don't know. I don't have that many druggy friends that I can call and ask them about.
Me neither. That's why it looked like he had I don't know, the stuff in the bag looked like Parmesan cheese. It looked like
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
it looked like yellow.
Yeah,
I
think sometimes it can be yellow. I think it is. Yeah. Look,
maybe we should ask a drug expert.
Yeah, if there's a drug expert who could write in to kickstreampod@gmail.com, that would be wonderful, because
just tell us
we are very uneducated in the world of hard drugs, so we're too straight-laced and boring, so please just
very straight-laced and boring.
Yeah. So please just go ahead and send us your drug information. It's also
I still want a pot brownie for my birthday. That's all I want, and I just want to have this experience.
Lucky for you, it's legal in a lot of places around you, so you just need to drive a little.
Oh, yeah, I'll just come up and visit you.
Yeah. Perfect. So Charlie's into the drugs, into the hard drugs, of which we know not a lot about.
Sorry.
And then we're back on the beach, and we see Boone and the blonde girl, who we find out her name is Shannon. Mm-hmm. We also meet. I think we saw them.
Boone is her brother.
Boone is her brother, and Shannon is the sister.
Right. So in the last episode, I was like, I think they're probably in a relationship, or
yes.
I thought they were like a couple. So clearly not.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how they do things, but
me neither. We
now know that they're brother and sister.
Yes,
so
brother and sister.
I hope that. Oh, please tell me there's not incest in this. I can't.
Look, I don't know.
Can you just spoil? Please,
no,
you need to spoil that for me. If that's, I can't. I cannot handle. That's like I can handle so much shit, but I cannot handle that.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh,
See my poker face? This is my poker face.
You are really good at this. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put books in front of my faces when you say
I got a poker
sometimes.
face. Also, I might not remember. So it's very easy. We also get a little bit of the Korean couple
Okay, I didn't know they were Korean. So you
Yes,
spoiled that.
They are Korean.
And I had said that I thought that that it was her father, but then I realized I was like, because they didn't show them that much, I feel like, in the last episode.
Right.
But this time I was like, he doesn't really look old enough to be her father. And
No.
then I noticed that they're both wearing like rings on,
Yes.
like wedding ring fingers.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, he's probably her super controlling husband.
Possibly.
Also, I love that she unbuttoned her cardigan when he walked away.
Michael is looking for Walt, and the husband, the Korean husband, yells something at him. Walt's looking for Vincent, which we find out that's the dog.
Right.
Walt also
The demon.
Yeah. What? Maybe.
What?
Huh? So Walt also finds in the woods
Handcuffs.
handcuffs. Yeah, that's a big moment in the show.
Uh-huh.
Because then it's like, whose handcuffs are these?
Yeah.
Somebody's on the loose.
Yep.
So what was going through your
Or they
mind?
got a sex thing going on.
That did not go through my mind. Is that what went through your mind?
I got to keep an open mind. I don't know what they're throwing at me in this show.
That's true. Keep an open mind because you don't know what's going to happen in this show.
Right. But I would imagine you probably can't bring those on a plane. I don't know.
Handcuffs?
Yeah.
Well, apparently you can.
Well, I mean, like sex handcuffs.
Oh. You're still in the sex handcuffs. All right. Well, some would say that just regular handcuffs could be sex handcuffs and vice versa.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. These are regular handcuffs. So what I'm saying is, I don't think you could just have them in your suitcase.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they'd make you remove them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never traveled with sex handcuffs.
Yeah,
So
you should try it next time.
listen,
See-
if
see
somebody
what
has
happens.
if someone's ever traveled with sex handcuffs, email us kickstreampod@gmail.com and just let us know what happened.
If you're a TSA agent and you've run into this, or you're just a freak and carry these wherever you go.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hey, let's not kink shame people.
Okay, thank you for
Okay.
clearing that up, and I apologize.
Let's not.
I apologize. I didn't mean to say
Also,
freak.
is there a difference? Is it if they're metal versus plastic?
You're also assuming that freak I meant as a negative thing. Maybe I like a freak.
Okay, so I'm not gonna freak shame you.
Thank you. Jeez.
We're gonna apologize a lot.
Yeah,
Maybe
this
we should. Sorry.
podcast is
Oh,
going
sorry.
off the goddamn rails. Okay, so
Sorry.
let's get back to the show. So Saeed
Fine.
and Sawyer
Okay.
are fist fighting on the beach.
What's his name? Sawyer?
Sawyer.
I don't like that guy.
Nobody likes Sawyer.
I hope he dies. I hope he dies. I hope he eats it.
Oh boy.
No, I hope he gets eaten
Yeah.
by
So
the dog demon.
So what I thought about this, because Sawyer and Saeed are fighting because Sawyer is blaming Saeed for crashing the plane. He's saying, you
Yeah.
probably crashed the plane.
Right.
So Saeed is from the Middle East, and
Yep.
this at this time that the show was made, I mean, we were very fresh off of 9/11.
Yeah.
So
it's only
2004,
3 years later.
right? So that's like what really hit me when I saw it. I was like, "Oh man, this was only 3 years later," and this was
Yeah.
very much happening all across our country.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and so I think that was just like a really poignant thing to put in this episode, because plane
Yeah.
crash, Middle Eastern guy on it, and then we have this other guy Sawyer, who's being a jackass and basically blaming him based on his race about this.
Yeah, I think they would have been remiss if they hadn't included something like that.
Yes.
Like, I think they had to. Like,
Right.
that's just sadly what like you're saying, exactly what was happening. And like he said, he was like, I saw you get pulled out of line before we boarded.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I like how it also flips it too, and how somebody is basically, they think Sawyer is the one who was in handcuffs or had
Right.
was the bad guy. They're like, oh, he's a jerk ass, so he was probably the one in handcuffs. He's probably the bad guy and stuff. So, and we find out later it wasn't Sawyer. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of flipping of expectations in this show, which
Yeah.
I find really refreshing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hurley and Saeed, they make friends because Hurley makes friends with everybody. He's such a nice dude. I
He's
love
so
Hurley.
Sweet.
He's the best.
I think he's in How I Met Your Mother. I think it's the same guy, but
Oh,
I don't want to
possibly.
look it up. So
Yeah.
because I don't want to know anything about the show.
Saeed reveals he was in the military. He says he was in the Republican Guard.
Oh, so I guess like if I'm putting that into kind of like American terms, would those be maybe like Green Berets?
Possibly. But it seems like
Special ops?
they're
I mean, they're
elite, you know?
Right.
So they're kind of like the probably special ops, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a brother in the military. You know more about this stuff than I do. I would think.
Not
I'm just
that much
making an
more.
assumption. Okay.
We see Kate on the beach and she's basically bathing herself. And I found this a little gratuitous on this watch.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that scene.
And especially because they purposely cut to the full body shot at the end of the scene.
Yeah.
And then they linger on it for like a few seconds. And I remember that shot being in all the promos on ABC.
Oh, God.
Like,
of course.
and it was totally exploited at the
Look
time.
at this hot blonde
Yeah,
on a beach.
come on, check it out. This is
That
yeah.
sucks.
So, but
Yeah,
you know,
I was like, this is like you said, gratuitous. That's
Yeah.
a great word to describe it. The one thing I will say though is I do think it would like because I was like, there's no point to this scene. Like they just want to show a like hot fucking blonde body.
she's not
but
blonde. She's brunette.
hot brunette body.
Okay.
Sorry. So many people I can't keep their hair color straight.
Yeah.
Shannon is blonde.
Shannon, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
they also show her in a bikini.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, laying out. But
Yeah.
like that, I sort of understand more because that paints more of her character.
Yeah, that I got, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like a long shot. I mean, it was they were like kind of going back and forth, but yeah, it like goes with her, you know, her whole thing where her brother was saying like you were painting, you were
Your
giving yourself a pedicure,
Yeah.
you know, like come on, get
Right,
with
she's
it, like
laying
look at
out.
what's happening,
Right, she's getting a tan. She's like lounging like it's like a vacation.
right.
But the shot with Kate was like, you know, we had a close up on her face, and then you know we end the scene with a full body shot.
Yeah, I will say that the only thing that kind of redeemed it for me is the Korean girl being
Yeah.
there and looking at her. Like,
Oh,
I think,
true.
I think there was a level, and I'm, you know, this is obviously an assumption I'm making, like, because I haven't seen any more than just these 2 episodes, but it makes me feel like she has like a very repressed sexuality.
Yeah.
And so seeing Kate being very free and like liberal with her body, like I feel like she's maybe, I wouldn't say so much jealous, but feeling a little bit like empowered by it or something.
Maybe, or just
Maybe a
it's
little
just.
turned on. I don't know. But
Well,
like
I don't
they're-
know about that, but I think it's showing. I think it's showing the difference, right, between
Yeah,
the two cultures
exactly.
and also just the characters themselves.
So that's the only thing that sort of saved that scene for me is that I was
Yeah.
like, okay, they're sort of like showcasing, like you're saying, like the differences in culture or her upbringing or whatever, you know, whatever it is. Like clearly she's got very repressed.
Yeah. So, and then we are back with the Korean couple. And of course, the husband slaps the wife's hand on the beach. And then the husband brings food. And I couldn't figure out what kind of food it was. Was it something?
I couldn't figure out either.
Yeah. It seemed, I was assuming it was something made with like some sort of seafood, like oyster or
Yeah.
crab of some sort of like raw dish is
Yeah.
what I was assuming.
Me too. Or yeah, something like that. Because what's the bigger
Hurley?
kid's name? Hurley.
Yeah.
Like he was like, no way, man. I'm starving, but I'm not eating that.
Yeah, I'm in no way that hungry.
That's 100% me. I'd be
Yeah.
like, nope. I wonder how long I'd survive on an island without eating fish because I hate fish.
Really?
But at a certain
But
point,
you like sushi?
gotta.
Oh no, you
Yeah,
don't.
but I always get vegetable sushi.
Right.
I
You
always
like
get
the
like
avocado peanut avocado.
peanut avocado. I had some today actually. Got some Japanica. Got some peanut avocado roll and their Westco roll. It's got
It's been so many months since I've had the rolls there. I miss it so much.
good. Well, see if you had stopped by today to get lunch.
Yeah, I know. So
So, yeah.
Michael tries telling Walt that he'll get him another dog. Walt doesn't like that. I mean,
No.
as a kid, you
Yeah,
totally
you're like,
get that.
you can't just replace my dog.
Right. Same thing
Who
with
are
teddy
you?
bears or, anything that's special to you when you're a kid. It's like, there's no replacing this. Like,
No.
you can't just fix it like that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that develop because clearly, a little bit later on, he says that he was living with his mom and his mom died.
Yeah.
For whatever happened, he's not thrilled to be with his dad.
Yeah.
But it does seem like Michael is his name.
Yep.
Does seem like he's trying.
Yeah. He's
so
definitely
it's-
trying. But
it's gonna be
there's a lot
interesting
of
to see that
lot of
develop.
backstory with them that, we get a little glimpse of. We get to meet the older guy with a scar on his face who's playing backgammon
Yeah.
on the beach.
Yeah. First of all, we didn't talk about what's the redneck guy's name?
Sawyer.
Sawyer.
Yeah.
How he kept calling Kate sweetheart.
Yeah, sweetheart. And he also calls the other girl, Shannon, he calls her sweet cheeks a little later.
Bitch, no. Oh, I hope he gets eaten so fast.
I
Also,
knew that
before-
was going to drive you nuts.
I cannot.
Oh, I know.
Oof,
Sawyer
I
is
cannot.
going to really
I
get
cannot.
you. Sawyer's going to just drive you up a wall.
I really hope he dies
Yeah.
quickly
Ooh,
because
jeez.
and of course he won't because that's what happens.
But perhaps, some characters, some people in the world, maybe there's
Turn him around.
some sort of redeeming qualities that we could find in people if we just dig
You
down
know,
deep
I
enough.
hope so, but
Okay.
right now I'm not seeing any.
Right
And
now you're
I-
saying
I-
kill them, string them up.
First impression,
Okay.
that's a strong. Also he killed a. Well, do we want to get into that yet?
We can.
Well, we skipped over the scene where they pan up the mountain
Yeah.
because they're like, we gotta find a place to get a better signal, and then they're just like pan for like 20 minutes. They're panning up the mountain.
I hate to be a stickler, but it's not panning when you're looking up and down. It's tilting.
Okay,
So
they're tilting.
you pan
Thank
left
you.
to right, you tilt up and down.
Up and down.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I
You're
learned
welcome.
something today.
Yes.
TIL.
Yep.
That made me busy. I mean dizzy.
Made you busy getting dizzy. Am I right?
Yes, it made me real dizzy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
why do they have to keep tilting?
Okay.
Anyway.
Are we are we on to the old guy with a scar yet? Or we missed
He
something
creeps me
else?
out.
Okay. So yes, very mysterious, right? This character.
Do you want to know a secret?
Do you
No,
wanna know a
bitch.
secret?
I don't
And
want to know anything about you. You
And
creep me out.
he also talks about backgammon, which I thought was really mysterious and kind of like, what does this mean? He says, 2 players, 2 sides.
Yeah,
One side
black
is
and
light,
white.
one side is dark.
Yeah.
Do you want to know a secret?
I did not like that. That made
Oh.
me super uncomfortable. I was like,
Yeah.
well, you need to get away from him.
Get away from that man.
He
Walt.
probably was in the KKK. That's his secret.
Really?
It's not that big of a secret.
You think he
That's
was
the
in the KKK?
That's the feeling that I'm getting from
Jeez.
this creepy ass man.
So funny the predictions that you have with these characters.
Oh my god, he's gonna be like in this like a civil rights leader or something. I don't like him also because he reminds me of a super misogynistic client that I had.
Oh, okay. Personal connection.
Personal connection.
Okay. Personal baggage.
A
So,
lot of personal baggage.
so
Bring it to the
Claire actually takes the Korean food and she tries it, and this induces the baby kicking, which she hadn't felt for a little bit and was causing her a lot of
Yeah.
anxiety.
Yeah,
So-
I was starting to wonder. Well, because like, I don't know
Can't
a ton
imagine.
about. I don't know a ton about pregnancy. 'cause
Oh, I know
I've
it
never
all.
Been
So
pregnant.
ask away.
But-
Ask questions.
But I would assume. I mean, I know it's much. You're at a greater risk, from my understanding, of having a miscarriage in your first trimester. But I can't imagine that being thrown from a plane in your third trimester is great.
No.
And so I was like, I do not want her to give birth to a stillborn. Like that was
Yeah.
a big fear that I had.
That
But
would
the
be a
fact
big
that
bummer.
it kicked.
Yeah, that was kind of like a nice little ray of sunshine in this episode.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
But-
that's so nice.
It's probably going to get fed to the dog demon that's
Jeez,
living
my
in the
goodness, such darkness. What did this Buffy show do to your brain?
No, it's what Rosemary's Baby did to my brain.
What age did you watch that at first?
I don't know.
8.
I was watching horror, like I told you, I was watching horror films with my grandmother when I was way too young to be watching horror films. But no, I think this is more a reference to Game of Thrones.
Okay. A beast comes after the group.
Yep.
Sawyer has a gun. It's revealed that
Yeah.
he has a gun. Mm-hmm. He shoots. What we find out is a polar bear dead.
Yeah, and okay, I get it. He was protecting the group. The polar bear was going to eat them, but this is another strike against Sawyer for me because polar bears.
You're gonna go PETA on you?
Polar bears are my favorite animals.
Yeah, but okay. How favorite?
And red pandas right up there.
I hear what you're saying.
For me.
But also, if a polar bear is charging at you, is he still your favorite animal? He's about to eat you.
He's still my favorite animal. That doesn't change anything, but he probably needs to die. Yeah.
Okay. So you're on Sawyer's side.
You know
what?
I'm in
Sounds like you're warming up to Sawyer.
I'm not warming up to Sawyer.
Okay.
I'm not. Maybe he was running at them because he was going to tell them about the dog creature in the woods.
Yeah. Also, when we reveal, when we get the reveal, jungle forest, when we get the reveal that it is a polar bear, this is this is exactly how Lost always operates. It's I think, is it Charlie that says it? He goes, guys, that's not a bear. That's a polar bear. And then it goes drum hit, boom. And then we go to a commercial.
Oh, Jesus.
That's exactly how Lost operates. So many.
I can't wait to see all the memes when we're done with this.
Yeah. So then we get a little bit of surgery with Jack.
Well, let's talk about global warming for a second.
What?
What's the polar bear doing in a tropical island?
Yeah, clearly it's global warming somehow. He swam down there because it was
polar ice caps melting.
Sure. So Jack performs some surgery with Hurley. Hurley can't handle it. Dude, I don't think I can. He passes out.
I would have passed out too. 100%.
Yeah, I agreed. I said that would be me. That was my note. That would totally be me. I can't do surgery. I can't do blood. Can't do needles. No thanks.
When Dave got his wisdom teeth removed.
Yeah.
Well, you know this story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They were like, do you have anybody else who can drive you both home? And I was like, no, I'll be fine. Just give me some applesauce from my purse.
So then we go to a Kate flashback on the plane as well.
Yes.
So this was big because I actually didn't remember that there was so many flashbacks in one episode. I guess there's only 2, but I had remembered it as being like different character flashbacks for different episodes, but this one had 2. So I was like, oh, okay, it's not like very episode specific for characters. It definitely like they spread it out amongst the episodes. So, but yeah, we get a Kate flashback. She's wearing handcuffs and she's being escorted by a marshal of some sort or some sort of man in a suit.
Who also calls her sweetheart.
Calls her sweetheart because that's what men do. He gets hit in the head with luggage as the plane starts to go down. And he bleeds from the head. But we later find out this is the guy that
with the shrapnel in him.
That Jack was performing surgery on.
Yeah.
And once he wakes up, he asks, "Where is she?"
Where is she?
Right. So we know that Kate was the one with the handcuffs, and she was locked up. So where does that story lead? Who knows? Jack saves the marshal dude, wakes up. Saeed fixes the radio, and the radio gets a bar of, what do you call that? Service. Thank you. But then they get some feedback. He gets a transmission, and it's a French woman, and the batteries are dying. Shannon is asked to translate because she knows a little bit of French. She's very hesitant. It's a lot of back and forth. It's very hectic for like 2 minutes. I feel like it took forever.
Yeah.
But she slowly starts to translate finally. She says, "It's repeating. Please help me. Please come get me. I'm alone now, on the island alone. Please, someone come. The others are dead. It killed them all." Saeed does the math, and the message has been running for 16 years and 5 months.
Okay, so my fridge was like running or something and it just clicked off. Like it just stopped making noise.
Right.
And it's like really quiet in my house now and I'm scared.
Because we're talking about Lost.
Right as we're talking about how this woman's alone on the island and
yeah. That's
that's
you.
been
You're the
broadcasting.
woman.
Oh my God.
You're broadcasting alone. I'm not actually here. I'm a figment of your imagination.
What? Directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, boom. So Charlie says at the very end of the episode, guys, where are we? And boom, Lost title. Great ending to the episode. Excellent cliffhanger. Love it.
I want to know how they did not all die on impact.
That's a
From the
great
plane
question.
crash.
How did they not all die on impact?
If there are any engineers out there or people who know about this kind of stuff who can tell us.
Yeah.
Because that didn't... Well, because, like, here's the thing. I didn't really think about it so much.
They all land on their feet like cats.
Okay, yeah, they don't do that. Pretty sure even a cat is not going to land on its feet from that kind of a crash.
Pretty sure they could.
Yeah,
And if they
maybe.
didn't, 9
Cats
lives. They got 8
Cats are
left.
crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like from Jax, we don't really see the full thing, but like when we get it from Kate's perspective,
Yeah.
they are dropping real fast.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like they all should have just been like obliterated.
Well, and the plane tears apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
don't
did
know
not
either.
take physics. So anybody who took physics, who can explain that, listen, the people out there who explained the Titanic thing and how they couldn't both fit on the door, if those people could call us or write
Mythbusters.
to us,
Yeah.
Mythbusters, yes, is there a Mythbusters about this?
If there is,
That would
you
have been an
shouldn't.
expensive ass myth.
You should not be Googling this.
Mythbusters. I can't say it. I shouldn't be Googling it.
You shouldn't be Googling any of this because you don't want to find out the answers.
Yeah,
to a
you're
lot of
right.
these
I
things.
don't want to know.
Yeah, just let it
I do want to know.
unfold.
I do want to know.
You do want to know, but you don't want to
But
find out.
I don't want to find out.
But you
yet.
do want to find out. You just
But it
don't
will
wanna
unfold.
prematurely find out.
Right.
Let the show do its magic.
All right. As long as they're going to answer that, because to me is like, same thing like with the girl who's pregnant, like Claire.
Yeah.
Seems kind of unlikely that her child would survive.
Who's to say?
Seems unlikely
Who's to
she would
say?
survive. So,
I
but
don't know.
if it's a mystical force, that explains everything.
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe it's God.
Maybe. Or a polar bear. Maybe the polar bear caught them all, like one
Yeah,
by one.
see,
like,
and the
"Oh, I
polar
gotcha."
bear was good.
Put him down, yeah.
The polar bear was good, and they
And
shot him,
Sawyer-
and now the dog demon's going to come after him.
Right. And it all makes sense. Great predictions.
Well,
Okay.
there we go.
So I have some trivia for this episode. Not a lot, but
All right.
something I should have mentioned in the last episode for part 1. Both part 1 and part 2 earned really high ratings. So the pilot episode actually got 18.6 million viewers, which was
Wow.
a record at the time for a pilot.
Wow.
And then later on,
Wow.
It won 4 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Single Camera Picture Editing, for Drama Series, Outstanding Music Composition, which I gotta say, I haven't even talked about the music in this show, but the music
Yeah.
in this show is amazing. A lot of it, or either all of it, is done by Michael Giacchino, who is a very famous composer now. I mean, he had done a lot of work before that, but Lost is really where he got very popular. He ended up going and doing tons of movies. He did Up. He did the new Star Trek movies.
Up.
Yeah,
I love the music in Up.
an excellent composer. So one of the best.
Cool.
So yeah, the music won an Emmy, and also the special effects won an Emmy as well. Which, I mean, hands down, it's one of the best looking visual effects shows. Just the plane crash and stuff, like, looked really good in my opinion.
Listen, Buffy won some awards, okay?
Yeah, okay, not digital effects though. I'll tell you that.
All right,
Okay.
you win.
Yeah, fair enough. So the pilot episode's world premiere was on July 24th, 2004, actually, at San Diego Comic-Con.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they actually showed the pilot episode like 3 months, July, August, September. So 2 months before before it actually broadcast on ABC.
You know who was probably at Comic-Con with a lot of people there trying to talk to them?
Cordelia.
The Buffy cast.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's like, no, we like this island show now. We're on to this island show. It's cool. Aw, sad.
Cordelia.
So J.J. Abrams decided when he was directing this that he did not want to do aerial shots, like, because they're shooting in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. It's obviously very picturesque. You would think that they would want to do some like really nice like aerial shots of where they are.
Yeah.
But he actually avoided revealing too much of the island. He wanted to sort of keep the mystery with the characters and make it sort of this... Oh,
that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's sort of a perspective thing, which I appreciate. I thought that was a really cool move.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably not something that I would have like thought of.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it either until I read it. And I was like, oh yeah, they don't really do that, do they?
I
Yeah.
think it's really cool that they're only revealing the island as the characters.
Yeah,
discover
experience it. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's a really interesting choice.
So get this. In the original outline of the pilot episode, Jack, Dr. Guy, was supposed to be killed halfway through the 2-part pilot.
Oh.
However...
So if it's halfway through the 2-part pilot, would it be in the commercial break?
I think he was supposed to die like at the cockpit. I think he was supposed to get pulled out of the cockpit at the end of the first episode instead of the pilot.
Okay.
Yeah. So, however, early readers of the pilot script claimed killing him off would lose viewers. So the producers subsequently cast Matthew Fox, in the role as a permanent character after considerations of a better-known guest star such as Michael Keaton. So
wait, what?
Michael Keaton was going to play Jack at first as the doctor, and then
But
he was going to be
afford
killed. No, they thought that it was going to lose viewers after they kill him after the first episode. People would be like, I thought Michael Keaton
so
was
they went
in
with
the show.
someone else because Michael Keaton, they couldn't afford to keep Michael Keaton on, probably.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
That's what I'm saying.
They weren't going to keep him on for the whole run because he's Batman. You're not going to cast Beetlejuice.
I like him better as Batman than Birdman, let me tell you.
I love Birdman.
I hated Birdman.
I know, so did my wife, and so did most people I talk to, except for myself. I really loved that movie.
So when you talk to yourself, you feel good about it.
Yeah. But I talk to myself in the Birdman voice. I go, hey.
Oh, God. I hated that movie so much.
I know. A lot of people did. I think all of my friends who saw it hated it, and I'm trying to figure out why I love it so much. And I think it's mostly...
because it's so Hollywood.
No, it's a technical achievement. Okay, so that's all the bullet points I have for this episode. Is there anything else you want to say about this?
Let me look at my points. As I'm taking notes for Lost, I pretty much just write out my thoughts or the things that I say out loud as I'm watching them.
Right.
I wrote, the fuck is a polar bear doing on a tropical island?
Okay, that's normal.
We kind of covered that already.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What did Kate do?
Okay.
It's like I probably said that out loud when I was watching it.
Okay.
How did they not all die on impact?
Okay,
and then
cover that.
all caps, what does Kate know? Because she just had this look about her.
Like a mysterious look?
Like
she
she
knows something?
knew something.
Oh, okay.
So I want to know what she did and what does Kate know. And like, I also appreciate being the idea of like who the inmate was turned on its head. But I will tell you, I didn't really, even when they revealed the handcuffs, like I was just kind of like, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to have any judgments. I'm not going to assume who's the inmate and who isn't. I'm just going to reserve judgment. Maybe a lot of that has to do with my own personal history with imprisonment. I have not been imprisoned, but
True.
my mother was.
Yes.
So I definitely know what it's like to get the reaction of being like, oh, wait, what?
Right. So to you, it wasn't like, it can't be a female.
It can't be a white woman.
Right.
Like, yeah, no, that was not a thing to me. I will say the thing that my mind jumped to was, it was actually like, I hope that it wasn't some like petty blue collar crime, and that it like that she's like some kind of femme fatale, murdered her ex-husbands because they abused her, Chicago type situation. I'm like, I hope that's what it is, and that it's not just like, oh yeah, I was like, embezzling money or whatever. Like I hope it's more interesting than that, because like
I'm going to have to reserve my poker face for this.
I know. I'm not even looking at you as I say it because I don't want to know if you do give it away. But yeah, that's my thought on that. What was your favorite moment from Buffy?
I got to go with the sunshine gag. That was awesome. That was so good. 9 hours, moron.
I know, I love it. I mean,
it was just...
It's like, come on, dude, you walked in here and it was dark. Like,
right, because it also got me. Like, it surprised me. So,
yeah.
And, like, not a lot of the, like, turns in the show have, like, really surprised me, but that one actually surprised me. So, I like that.
I love it because it reminds me of Hocus Pocus.
Oh, okay,
And Hocus Pocus is my favorite Halloween movie.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
That's a good one.
So Hocus Pocus came out in 93, so it was before Buffy. And I can't say that I made this connection the first time watching it, or the second or third or fourth, or, whatever. But this time watching it, I was like, oh, this totally reminds me of the thing they pulled in Hocus Pocus where they turned like the high beams on and were trying to burn the witches because they did the same thing, would burn at daylight.
I also remember the sprinkler with the lighter and the sprinkler.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember that.
So that kind of reminded me of that. My favorite moment from this episode of Buffy is the scene where Willow fucks with Cordelia.
Oh, yes, when she says deliver.
Yes. So in
Press
the computer lab, they're in computer club, or probably not club. They're
not
in
club. I think it's class.
Ain't no way Cordelia is going to be in the computer club.
Right.
So Cordelia is talking to a blonde girl who is one of the actresses who actually auditioned to be Buffy.
Man, she must be so mad.
Maybe, but so she's like, they're basically shit talking Buffy.
Yeah.
And Willow tries to defend Buffy, and then Cordelia says, "Excuse me, who gave you permission to exist?" And Willow just kind of is like, whatever. She just like turns away. And then she said, "Do I horn in on your private discussions? No. Why? Because you're boring."
Right.
And then
she really digs in to Willow.
She really digs into Willow. And then she and the blonde girl are like working on this computer program thing, whatever. And then they're like, okay, it's done. Like, now how do we save it? And Willow says, deliver. And so Cordelia presses the DEL button, which, as we know, deletes.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know how to control Z.
This was before Control Z was even invented.
I mean, probably not. I don't know, actually.
I don't think
I think it was a thing.
I think it was a thing.
Ain't no way Cordelia knew how to do that if she doesn't know how to save.
Right.
So that made me so happy. Oh, it just makes me so happy.
Yeah, that was a good burn. That was a nice, like, silent walk-away burn, too. Like, okay,
she's
deal
just
with it.
Deliver, and then walks away, and you're like, suck it, Cordelia.
Right. And it kind of got me, too, because I was like, oh, she's actually helping them, so she's going to be nice. Oh, no, she burned them.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was good. That's a good moment.
Yeah, I loved that.
So for Lost, favorite moment, why don't you pick yours first? I'm going to have to think about mine.
I think mine was finding out that Kate is the prisoner.
Yeah, that's a great turn.
That adds an interesting twist that I'm excited to see how it plays out.
I'm gonna have to go with When the Baby Kicks. I also really like
nice.
That is nice, but I also really like when we meet the guy with the scar and he's so mysterious. I also like that moment.
Creepy.
He is kind of just spooky, and
he's like on his own. He was on his own in episode 1. He's like just sitting there trying to play backgammon. I don't know. Backgammon is a cool game. I played that a lot when I was little, and like I feel like nobody
Never
knew
played it.
how to play it.
Yeah, I never played it.
Yeah, we used to play it all the time.
I played chess and checkers a lot, and then like Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah. So which episode wins this week?
So, I mean, I love Lost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great episode, but I feel like it's more setup, whereas the Buffy was more action. I really like the tunnel stuff in the Buffy episode, which I should have talked about more in the beginning. I really liked all the stuff in the tunnel. I thought it was paced really well, and I liked the cinematography and actually the music. Normally, I'm not really a fan of the music in Buffy, but I thought the music fit with the pacing and the cinematography in the tunnels and made it kind of mysterious and spooky, and I enjoyed that.
Do you mean specifically with Buffy and Xander, or also the scenes with like the Master?
Not so much with the Master stuff, because that stuff is pretty brightly lit. I don't really care about wherever their like little lair is. Like,
yeah.
That seems sort of like I don't know. That seems very like setty, like a stage to me.
Mm-hmm.
But the tunnels, more so like when Buffy first goes down the stairs into the tunnels and she's alone before Xander shows up, I thought that was paced really well. And then when Xander shows up, it becomes more fun because they have a little dialogue and back and forth. Mm-hmm. But I did enjoy, before Xander shows up, sort of the tense pacing, and then we get the jump scare, of course, when Xander shows up behind her.
Yeah.
So I appreciated all of that, and I was like, you know what, this pretty good, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So you think Buffy wins this week?
I think it might win this week. It's. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I feel similarly. I mean, I wasn't necessarily thinking about the pacing in the tunnel, but so again, like in Lost, you're still finding out about this large group of people, and there's still so much more to discover. But I felt the same way. Like, I think there wasn't as much action, and so it didn't grip me as much as episode 1. Like episode 1, you start out and it's complete chaos, and you're like, I gotta know what's happening.
Right.
Like I'm pulled in immediately. And but you can't be like that every episode, right?
This one, you get a little bit of a breather. It's a little bit of a respite. We get to understand
Yeah.
more of the characters, a little bit more backstory, but it is a lot slower. Like the biggest action we get in this is the fight with Saeed and Sawyer.
And the polar bear.
Which,
Right.
ends very quickly. But other than
Yeah.
that, it's just a lot of unraveling character arcs and story.
Yeah, and so for me, there's still too many characters to follow and remember their names, and there's still so much we don't know about the characters that it was, it just wasn't as interesting to me as episode 1. But I love this episode of Buffy because it has so many great lines in it. There's just really great dialogue, really great quips from pretty much all of the characters. And you're starting to see, like I was saying earlier, starting to see the main group of Buffy, Giles, Willow, and Xander define roles for themselves within their team.
Yeah, the Slayer team.
Yeah, so you've got Buffy beginning to trust Giles. Like, at first she's obviously like resistant. She's like, I don't need
Who's
a
this
watcher.
guy?
Like, this
Yeah.
isn't. I'm not doing this.
I only work alone, man.
Right, but she's like
She doesn't say that.
No, she doesn't say that. But you can see, like, already she's trusting Giles.
Right.
She's reporting into him, helping to formulate the plan, executing the plan. Giles and Willow are on research duty. Xander at first feels useless, but then he turns, like I was saying earlier, kind of turns himself into Buffy's sidekick in the action department.
Yeah.
Though he is still woefully unprepared to do so. Yeah. So yeah, I just think because we've got a smaller group of characters, there's more action that happens. It does, like we were talking about earlier, the whole sort of like wrapping up this story, like that happens in this episode, we're left upbeat a little bit, you know, like they're just like, oh great, you know, this obviously the master's like we're still gonna have to deal with him, but
it felt like the end of a movie. It felt like things were kind of wrapped up in a nice little bow.
Exactly.
But we know that obviously the vamp's still out there.
Right. But yeah, like if I mean I feel like if this were a movie,
sequel coming.
Right. But I think it could have lived on its own.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna go Buffy wins as well.
Okay. Looks like we're simpatico on this.
Yeah. I mean, we were last week too. I was, you know, I didn't
true.
I didn't want Lost to win, but
right. I didn't want Buffy to win ever.
But we gotta
right.
Put,
we gotta look at it.
Aside.
Yeah. We just gotta look
at it.
You just gotta look at it, and then you gotta look at it.
All right. What do you think is gonna happen next on Buffy?
Predictions. The master's going to do some stuff, meaning he's going to create some sort of reinforcements. I think he's going to go to some blood well, and he's going to pull out some
blood well
vampires. Look, hey, you got the demon dog, I get a blood well, okay? He's
I mean, he did kind of come out of
That's where it's coming
well.
from. Yeah, so he's going to go back to his blood well. He's going to throw his arms in, and he's going to pull something out, all right? And it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be more vampire type people. Or he's going to call them from the other side of the world or from a different dimension or something, because Giles talks about of an alternate dimension or something, some portal. I don't know. Somehow he's going to get reinforcements, and he's going to start building up a little bit of an army, because he knows now that Buffy is not to be trifled with. Like, he's got to take this threat seriously. So he's going to have to call in some reinforcements to get the fight going.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's still stuck down there in that lair, so.
Right, he's still stuck. He's got to go to the blood well. He's going to bathe in the blood well. Yeah. Yep.
I never thought of that as a blood well. Just like
it's a blood well.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah, what's your prediction? Demon dog still?
I'm still on the demon dog thing.
Really? Okay.
I think that Sawyer,
the man you hate,
is gonna try to kill Saeed.
Okay.
And I hope that he gets eaten. Sawyer, not Saeed.
Okay. Who's gonna eat him?
The demon dog.
The demon dog. Okay.
Obviously.
Demon dog eats the cute lab, who's Vincent, is demon dog.
Yes.
Okay.
And we find out Kate is some sort of femme fatale who murdered someone, probably a man who probably deserved it. Maybe several men.
Oh, okay.
That's my prediction.
Interesting takes. All of them. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Well, this is a good episode.
Yeah. Well, what else are you reading, watching, and listening to, Pat?
Watch The Godfather for Movie Club, as you know.
Yeah. You want to do your Godfather impersonation?
Hold on. You do yours first, and I can channel it better.
You come to me. Why you never invite me over for
Your
coffee?
Godfather is really good.
I know.
Yeah.
It's really
You've
good.
been working on it
I'm
all
really
week.
proud of it.
And I don't even want to do mine because it's not even going to hold a candle to your Godfather. All right, let me try.
I don't have many impersonations, but the Godfather is a good
You
one for me.
gotta do the movement with a hand.
You gotta stick on your jaw.
Oh yeah, with the jaw. Okay.
Yeah.
On the day of my daughter's wedding. I don't know. I don't know why I pronounce the words wrong. On the day of my daughter's you know what?
Oh my lord.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Can you do a Christopher Walken?
No, but you can. Go ahead. Yours is way better. What is this segment?
Good.
You blow me out of the water?
No, you're so good at impersonations. It's
yeah, but
funny
it's like
that
people who I know and stuff, which always gets me in trouble, but less on like I'm bad with celebrities.
Okay, do a Sammy impersonation.
Hi, I'm Sammy, and
do I have a lisp?
no. Hold on, let me try again. I'll drop the lisp this time. Hi, I'm Sammy. Cocoa butter bomb.
Oh boy.
That's pretty much what you say. You
All
introduce
right, I'll have to
yourself
ask
and then
Melissa
you
what
say
your
something
Sammy
about
impersonation
emotion.
is.
I don't have a Sammy impersonation.
Okay.
I don't think I
guess
do.
That's good.
Yeah.
My Christopher Walken is Patrick, why don't you have more cowbell?
It's too good. It's too good. It's really good.
Those are the only two I got, though.
I know.
So
I know.
they
You
gotta
burnt
be
them in
good.
one episode. You should have really spread these
I
out.
should have. All
Yeah.
right, cut this. I'll probably need to move further from the mic to do my Christopher Walken anyway.
Okay. Great episode.
Are you going to
till
ask me
next
what
week.
I'm reading, watching, and listening
Oh
to?
yeah, what are you I always forget. What are you reading, watching, listening to?
Well, I'm reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, which you would not let me finish, even though I have 5 pages left.
Yeah, you'll finish those 5 after this, and
I
you'll-
will immediately after this.
Yeah.
Immediately. And I actually bought the second book today because Dave and I are going on a little mini vacation this weekend. So
Oh yeah, where are you guys going?
we're just going to an Airbnb in New York, just a small little
New York.
thing.
Where my daughter was wed.
That's good.
I'm
That's
working.
definitely better.
I don't like how your voice went up an octave though, because that makes me think like, yes, okay.
No, that was good.
Okay.
That was definitely better than your first try.
Okay,
For sure.
I'll take it.
100%. I can
I'll
say that with certainty.
take it. Okay.
Yeah,
you're gonna
so
go out just for a little weekend.
yeah, it's
getaway.
his birthday tomorrow. So
Fun.
we're just doing a nice little getaway to some place
Fun.
that has a pool.
Well, tell
Which
David.
now I'm a little nervous about. I don't know.
Tell David I said happy birthday.
David,
David, happy birthday.
I will tell him that.
Yeah.
I am still watching Cursed, the Netflix series that I'm super into.
Oh yeah, I
and
heard that's good.
It is really good.
We're actually, I forgot to mention this. We're watching the show Community, which we never seen before.
Oh, yeah.
You should see it.
I know I have. I actually watched
Oh.
a good chunk of it, but then I just couldn't
You fell
deal
off.
with them anymore. I just couldn't
Yeah.
deal with them anymore. They got to
Yeah,
be too
we're only
annoying
5
to me.
episodes in, but we're digging it.
Yeah.
We finished Veep, so we had to find a different show to watch.
Oh, that's right. I
You
have
should
never
watch
seen
Veep.
Veep.
You
Yeah.
have to watch Veep. It's so
I know.
good.
That's
It's so
that's
good.
what I've heard.
It'll also infuriate you in a weird way, but it's also very funny.
Yeah. It'll
Yeah.
probably infuriate me in the same ways that I imagine that Parks and Rec infuriated me.
No, different. I'm
Okay.
gonna say different. It's
All
it's
right.
a show like I've never seen before. It's unbelievable. You just
Okay.
have to experience it.
All
Great.
right.
Cool. So till next week, we will do episode 3 for both these shows. I don't know the titles. Do you know the title of Buffy?
Yeah, it's The Witch.
Oh, it's The Witch. Do you know them off the top of your head?
Honestly, it kind of falls off at that point.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Great. This was fun. So
Yeah.
till next week, you can listen and subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. And of course, don't forget to rate us 5 stars. That's the only correct rating for this podcast.
You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at KickstreamPod. And send us emails, but please no spoilers, to kickstreampod@gmail.com. Always remember that streaming is better with friends.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.